Imagine you're flying down a winding back road at 2 in the morning. The moonlight is flickering through the trees, the road is empty, and your heart is pounding against your ribs. Your left foot kicks the clutch, your right hand slams the gear lever from fourth into third, and the engine screams in perfect harmony with your soul. Most people see a car as an appliance, like a toaster on wheels or a refrigerator that moves. But for a select group of people, driving isn't just about getting from point A to point B. It's a psychological battle, a high-stakes dance, and a dying art form. Why on earth, in a world of self-driving Teslas and lightning-fast automatics, would anyone choose to work 10 times harder just to go the same speed? Today, we're peeling back the skull of the manual driver to find out exactly what makes them tick. This isn't just about gears and grease. It's about the primal human need for control in a world that's quickly losing it.
Have you ever looked at a stick shift driver and wondered, what are you actually doing? They're constantly moving, twitching, and listening to the car like it's a living, breathing creature. In a modern world obsessed with convenience, the manual transmission is an anomaly. It's inconvenient. It's difficult to learn. It's a literal pain in the leg when you're stuck in 5 o'clock traffic. And yet, for the enthusiasts, an automatic car feels like a betrayal. It feels hollow. To understand why, we have to look at the unique psychology of the person behind the wheel. We have to understand the man-machine interface. Because for these people, the car isn't a tool, it's an extension of their own nervous system.
Let's start with the most powerful psychological driver of all, the need for agency. Think about your life for a second. How much of it do you actually control? Your phone decides which notifications you see, algorithms decide what music you listen to, your car's computer usually decides when to shift gears to save a tiny bit of fuel. But when you step into a manual car, that entire power structure flips. You are the boss. You decide when the power hits the pavement. If you want to redline the engine until it screams, you do it. If you want to lug it in fifth gear for a smooth cruise, that's your call. Psychologists call this an internal locus of control. Manual drivers have a deep-seated desire to be the primary cause of their own outcomes. They don't want a computer to interpret their intentions. They want to execute them personally. When a gear shift is smooth, they take the credit. When it grinds, they take the blame. And in a world that feels increasingly automated and out of our hands, that raw responsibility is an intoxicating drug.
But it goes deeper than just being the boss. Have you ever heard of the flow state? It's that magical psychological zone where you're so focused on a task that time seems to disappear. Athletes get it, musicians get it, and manual drivers live for it. Driving an automatic is passive. You sit there, you steer, and your brain goes to sleep. That's why people start scrolling through TikTok at red lights or eating a 3-course meal while driving down the highway. Their brains are bored. But a manual driver, their brain is on fire. They are constantly calculating engine load, predicting the next turn, and matching the revolutions of the engine to the speed of the transmission. It requires just enough cognitive effort to keep the monkey brain occupied without being overwhelming. This creates a state of active meditation. For a manual driver, the commute isn't a chore, it's a mental reset. They aren't thinking about their taxes or their boss, they're thinking about the perfect rev match downshift. It's one of the few places left where you are forced to be 100% present in the moment.
Now, let's talk about the secret club mentality. There is a massive social and psychological component to driving a stick. Let's be honest, there's a bit of elitism involved, isn't there? We've all seen the memes, the millennial anti-theft device. There is a psychological satisfaction in knowing how to do something that 95% of the population cannot. It creates an instant bond. When two manual drivers see each other, there's a silent nod of respect. It's the in-group bias at its finest. You're part of a tribe that values skill over convenience. You're a purist. You're someone who appreciates the mechanical sympathy required to operate a complex machine. In a world of easy mode, the manual driver chooses hard mode because they know the reward is sweeter when you have to earn it.
And speaking of rewards, let's talk about the dopamine. Every time a manual driver nails a perfect shift, that crisp, mechanical click-clack into the gate, their brain releases a hit of dopamine. It's a tiny victory. It's a physical sensation that an automatic car can never replicate. When you feel the gears mesh perfectly through the palm of your hand, it's a tactile feedback loop. You're not just pressing a button, you're moving metal. You are physically connected to the drivetrain. This tactile engagement is why manual drivers often feel numb when they drive a modern car. To them, a Tesla feels like a giant iPad on wheels. It's fast, sure, but it's sterile. It's like the difference between playing a guitar and pressing play on a Spotify track. One is an experience you create. The other is an experience you consume.
But here is where it gets really interesting. There is a specific type of person who gravitates toward this, the anti-distraction warrior. In a psychological study of driving habits, it was found that manual drivers are significantly less likely to engage in distracted driving. Why? Because they literally don't have enough hands. You can't easily text, eat a burger, and hold a coffee while you're rowing through gears in city traffic. For many, the manual transmission is a self-imposed safety net. It's a way to force themselves to pay attention. It's a rejection of the zombification of the modern commuter. They want to feel the vibration of the road, the resistance of the clutch pedal, and the roar of the exhaust. They want to feel alive.
Now, imagine the future for a second. We are moving toward a world of electric vehicles that don't even have gears. We are moving toward level 5 autonomy, where you won't even need a steering wheel. In that world, the manual driver is a revolutionary. They are the keepers of the flame. They are the ones who remind us that humans aren't just biological cargo to be moved from place to place. We are creators. We are operators. We are meant to interact with our environment, not just observe it through a glass screen. So, the next time you see someone in an old hatchback working that gear lever like their life depends on it, don't just see someone driving an old car. See a person who is fighting for their focus. See a person who craves mastery over their environment. See a person who finds joy in the friction, the noise, and the mechanical complexity of life. They aren't just shifting gears, they're shifting their entire psychological state. They've found a way to turn a mundane Tuesday morning into a symphony of physics and grit.
Because at the end of the day, the psychology of the manual driver boils down to one simple, beautiful truth. They don't want the car to drive them. They want to drive the car. And in a world that's trying to put us all on autopilot, maybe we could all learn a little something from the person with 3 pedals and a dream. Whether it's the thrill of the perfect launch or the satisfaction of a rev-matched downshift into a sharp corner, the manual driver knows a secret that the rest of the world has forgotten. Life isn't about how fast you get there. It's about how much you felt along the way. Stay focused, stay engaged, and for the love of all things mechanical, keep rowing those gears. The road is calling, and it's waiting for someone who actually knows how to drive it.